After ng sunod-sunod kong content about the Quadcom hearing, no? So marami tayong natuklasan doon, lalo na nung may mga lumabas na sariling testigo itong mga kumakalaban kay Duterte. Alright, so after that, punta naman tayo ng Maynila, na kung saan yung talagang matunog na naglalaban dito ay si Hanny Lacuna at itong si Isko Moreno. Mayroon na rin ako mga content na kung saan, di ba, nagbatuhan sila ng mga accusation na kung ano ang sinabi ni Isko laban kanila Hanny kay Congressman Chua, okay, at saka yung isa niya pang kasama na tinawag niya pang Chihuahua at saka Crocs. So nagkasagutan na sila doon, kanya-kanyang explanation, kanya-kanyang paliwanag, kanya-kanyang siyempre sino yung naapi at na hindi naapi at kung anong relationship sila prior sa nangyaring ito sa kanilang pagkakaibigan, diba? So dito naman sa video ito na aking share, actually natakil na to before, yung mga naging accomplishment ni Isko Moreno. But of course, this is a timely video na maaaring, kasi based sa video ng aking share sa inyo is mostly goods ang sinabi kay Isko Moreno, okay? And maybe this is a way of advertising uli kung ano yung mga na-accomplish ni Isko Moreno. But bago po ako magpatuloy, welcome po sa aking channel. Kung bago pa lang po kayo sa aking channel, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe na rin po. And pakihit ng notification bell para maging aware kayo sa aking mga upcoming content. Any comment, suggestion, recommendation, or opinion with regards to this video, please share it on our comment section. And issue lang pa tayo, walang personalan. Kung ano man po yung masasabi ko at nasabi ko sa mga video kong nakaraan at sa video ito, yun po ay pawang opinion ko lamang na sa tingin ko ay tama. Ngayon, kung meron kayong sarili ninyong opinion, you can express it. You can express it on our comment section. Alright, so katulad po ng sinabi ko, before itong nangyaring upcoming election and itong kanya-kanya na sila ng siyempre pabanguhan sa kanilang mga nasasakupan, yung mga accomplishment na ito ni Isko ay narinig na natin. And to maybe refresh the memory of Maynila, gumawa uli sila ng video na to for every Manileños to remember what are the accomplishment of Isko Moreno during his term as a mayor sa Maynila. So ang share ko pong video sa inyo ay mga pagpapatunay, and I agree to this, yung mga pinakita rito sa video na to, na malaki talaga. Katulad po ng mga nasabi kong doon sa mga una kong content about dito sa nangyayari sa Maynila, talagang nagkaroon ng malaking impact ang mga naging accomplishment ni Isko Moreno. At para po sa ating kalinawan uli, let me share this video.
This massive divide has sent shockwaves through the political landscape of Manila. What is driving Moreno's seemingly unstoppable comeback? And why is Lacuna's campaign looking this bleak, especially considering she is a sitting mayor? Let's dive into the term of the man millions referred to as Yorme and contrast it with Lacuna's current tenure. The numbers speak for themselves, but the story behind these figures reveals even more about the political dynamics in Manila today. It's very clear. Isko Moreno's track record as mayor of Manila is impressive, and his success stems from his ability to turn promises into real, measurable progress. His administration did not just make promises, it delivered results on a scale that Manila had not seen in decades. The following are just some of his key achievements, which one can only assume are driving his breathtaking popularity in the polls. Let's start with housing. Manila has long been plagued by overcrowded slums and informal settlements. The issue was so deeply ingrained that most previous administrations viewed it as unsolvable. Watch any Filipino movie, if it's set in Manila, it's going to be slums. Yet Isko dared to tackle the housing crisis head-on.
So, totoo yan. For the past 3 decades or more than, di ba, ilang mayor na ang nagdaan sa Manila. Di ba? Lim, Atienza, and Estrada. Kitang-kita naman natin yung mga sitwasyon sa Maynila. Yes, of course, hindi naman lahat yan naresolbahan ni Isko. Pero, mayroon siyang ginawa. Diba? Katulad nga sinasabi nung reporter, head-on niyang hinarap yung mga problema na yan. At ang isa sa naging project niya ay...
First, Moreno built the impressive condominiums 1 and 2, the Binon Dominium 1, and the Base community. Then came the San Lazaro, the San Sebastian, and Pedro Hill residences, projects referred to by many Manileños as revolutionary in both scope and impact. Isko calls the projects pabahay sa loob ng Maynila or in-city vertical housing reminiscent of Singapore. All this.
Yes, actually nabanggit niya yan. Nung ginawa niya ang mga pabahay na yan, yung condominium, base condominium, and the rest ng mga na-mention, ang inspired by Singapore way of building. Mga HDB nga ang term nila. Housing, development, something. I don't remember, but parang isang ilang floor na building na mag-o-occupy kada floor na mga depende sa gaano kalaking room, but most likely, if I'm not mistaken, ang Singapore kasi kada floor at least 4 to 5 na mga units sa isang floor na talagang puro bahay, something like condominium. Kaya nga condominium, mga ganon, pero nakabase siya sa kung paano binuo ang housing sa Singapore. Kasi alam naman natin na maliit lang Singapore, so they really compress and make use of their land wisely. So doon ko rin narinig kay mismong si Isko Moreno ang nagsabi na inspired by Singapore style of pabahay yung ginawa niya yan sa mga lugar na yan, na kung saan niya pinatayuan ng buildings para sa pabahay. Although, syempre, hindi, ano naman let's be real. Hindi naman lahat ng mga nasa Islam area, makukuha lahat. But at least, di ba, kung 100 na pamilya yan na nakatira sa Islam area at nabawasan mo yan ng mga 30 o 40, di ba, malaking bagay yun. Di ba? Malaking bagay yun. And as you continue progressing, unti-unti naman yan, di ba?
Done in one term. These high-rise community or condominium complexes provided thousands of families with safe, modern, and dignified homes. The first 2 condominium towers, located in Tondo, obviously, were designed to house around 336 families per tower, while Binon Dominium was set to shelter around 168 families in each building. Now, these are not merely symbolic efforts.
So, mantakin mo yung mga figures na yun. Baga 100 lang yan. Pero, di ba, nabigyan mo ng bahay. Nabigyan mo ng bahay yung mga nasa Islam area. Para magbago kahit paano. Kasi iba pa rin talaga yung maayos na tirahan. Di ba? Na hindi uulanin. Hindi ka mababasa. So, sigurado ako may mga qualification and reason kung paano nila pinili yung mga taong titira sa lugar na yan.
But a real transformation in the lives of Manila's urban core. The contrast between the dangerous shanties that residents used to live in and the new sustainable housing could not be starker. Let's now go to the second one, restoring public spaces. Ito
yung isa talaga. Dahil alam ko, narinig ko rin during his terms, merong mga lugar or yung dating daanan, highway, na na-block, na talagang hinarangan, nilagyan ng gate, na nung kanyang trinase, dati palang service road yun. I don't know, I forgot the name of that place, pero kitang-kita, nung tinignan nila sa mapa nila, sa mapa ng Maynila, yun ay daanan before. Pero nung mayroong nagtayo ng isang pabrika, totally binlock yun. As in, pinatay yung service road na yun. Maybe some of you know this, taga Maynila. So please comment it on our comment section.
Isko Moreno's most significant accomplishment was his historic cleanup of Manila's streets. I love this, particularly in chaotic and congested areas like Divisoria.
Yes, ito. Talagang ito ang may malaking improvement, ang Divisoria. Kahit hindi Pasko or walang occasions, ang Divisoria, yung kahabaan ng Divisoria na yan, talagang hindi makakadaan ng sasakyan. Makadaan man, aabutin ka. Wala pang 1 kilometrong tatravel ng sasakyan, aabutin ka ng media ora hanggang 1 oras. Depende sa tigas ng ulo ng mga taong nanduroon sa gitna ng kalsada. So actually, isa rin ito sa aking nagustuhan talaga noong si Isko Moreno yung naupo. Yung Divisoria talaga.
And Blumentritt. For years, these areas were virtually synonymous with illegal vendors, clogging the roads, disorder, and unmanageable traffic. Under Moreno's leadership, the clutter and chaos were replaced with order. He organized the vendors and cleared the road.
Naalala ko yung Plaza Miranda na yan. Talagang hinos yan. Ginamitan nila ng hose yan para maglabasan yung mga pavement na ang gaganda pala ng design. Kaya lang kasi napabayaan, nagmukha ng putik. Nawala yung itsura, pero during Isko time, talagang massive clean up ang ginawa dyan sa Plaza Miranda, dyan sa may harap ng Quiapo na yan, na talagang nalinis yan. And sad to say, kasi napapadaan ako minsan dyan, nagbabalikan na naman yung mga vendors, nanduro na naman sa kalye, marami na naman yung mga nasa gedli. Sa Divisoria, huling punta ko, maluwag pa rin naman, pero alam mo, nanduro na naman sa gilid-gilid yung mga vendors. Although, may iba pa rin naman na sumusunod at hindi pa ganun na nagsara na naman yung kalye dahil sa dami ng vendors. Nakakadaan pa rin naman ng maluwag yung sasakyan, but slowly, yun nga, nakikita natin yung balikan. Ako personally ko kasi na-experience yun.
Ways making these spaces functional again. For instance, Divisoria, the city's major commercial hub, underwent a dramatic transformation that saw vendors relocated to designated areas, while traffic once again began to flow freely. This effort was not without controversy, of course. Critics accused him of being too harsh, but
actually, ewan ko, kasi nakasubaybay ako dito. Nung time na si Isko Moreno yung nakaupo. Kahit pa paano, nasubaybayan ko to. Most of them naman is, mostly is okay sa ginagawang clean up ni Isko Moreno. Okay? Oo, yung totoo naman sinasabi niya, meron talagang ibang, masyado siyang harsh. But, kumbaga, ipe-percentage mo very less yung nag-a-against sa gusto niya mangyari sa Divisoria. Kasi grabe ang Divisoria. Sobra ang nung nga nawala si Isko Moreno, naisip ko paano maaayos pa ba tong lugar na to? Kasi ano siya di ba? Hub siya ng mga doon nagbabagsakan yung mga galing probinsya ng mga produkto. Di ba? Kung ganun ka congested, paano ka pa makakapamili? Paano ka pa makakilos na maayos? But during Isko Moreno's time, talagang napaayos niyon at malaki. Tulad ng sinasabi nitong reporter, napakalaki ng naging kaibahan.
The impact, undeniable. According to the Metro Manila Development Authority or MMDA, traffic congestion in some of these key areas dropped by 20 to 30% after the cleanup. Imagine that, 20 to 30%. That improved daily commutes for thousands of Manileños. And people like me actually wanted to go there. Now, social welfare. Moreno also focused on these, often overlooked by previous administrations, particularly the elderly.
Yung tatlong yun. Yun yung tatlong dumaan sa Maynila na wala silang ginawa. Wala silang ginawa. And may isang report na kung saan may parte ng Maynila na pinaupahan na ang presyo is 19 kopong-kopong pa. Nung ni-renew, alam mo yung year na ang 100 pesos is malaki pa value, na nung ni-renew na ang 100 pesos is halong 10 piso na lang, pero nung ni-renew yung upa, same amount noong unang inupahan. So kaya ata nabenta yun. May explanation na atang ginawa dyan si Hani Lacuna, if I'm not mistaken, about dyan sa parte ng Maynila na yan pinenta. And that was during their time ni Isko, ng Vice Mayor pa siya. Okay?
Kalinga sa Matatanda program provided monthly cash aid, free medical checkups, and access to essential medicines to the city's senior citizens. This was a crucial intervention in a city where many elderly residents do not have pensions, not even access to adequate health care. Now, one of the standout elements of this program was its inclusivity. Beyond financial assistance, the initiative also provided employment opportunities for able-bodied seniors. Where in the Philippines do you see that? Maybe only in Manila. Many elderly citizens were employed as greeters in fast food chains and other establishments, providing them not only income, but also a sense of purpose and community. The results of this program were tangible. According to the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or the DSWD, over 100,000 senior citizens benefited from the cash assistance during Moreno's term, significantly easing the financial burden on their families. You know, the families taking care of them. Now, let's go to crime prevention. Perhaps one of the most critical areas of Isko Moreno's leadership was in crime prevention and public safety. When he took office, Manila faced severe crime-related issues, from petty crimes with snatchings to organized criminal activity. It was chaos. His administration focused on reducing crime through a combination of law enforcement reforms, surveillance technology, and community-based policing. During his term, Moreno strengthened the city's law enforcement by, number one, providing better equipment to the Manila Police District, or the MPD, including new patrol cars, motorcycles, and surveillance drones. Now, this initiative, coupled with increased presence of police in high-crime areas, drastically improved the city's response to criminal activity. The numbers reflect this success as well. In 2020, Manila saw a 45% decrease in crime rate. This is significant, a very significant achievement considering the challenges the city faced. According to the Philippine National Police, the total crime volume in Manila dropped from 20,517 reported incidents in 2019. Take note, reported incidents, there's more, to just 11,231 in 2020, marking one of the most substantial crime reductions in recent years.
But wag natin kalimutan na during that time din, nag-umpisa yung pandemic. Diba? So mayroong malaking epekto rin. Nung kasing nag-pandemic, diba? Nagmukha ng ghostan yung buong Pilipinas dahil limited ang mga taong pwedeng lumabas. So, may factor doon sa pagbaba ng crime rate na yun, syempre, yung paglesen ng tao sa kalye. So, let's not forget that. Di ba? Oo, bumaba, but alalahanin natin, pandemic is nandiyaraan nung time na yun.
The deployment of 1,000 new CCTV cameras across the city further strengthened this effort, improving the ability of law enforcement to monitor and respond to crime in real time. Now, by the end of his term in 2021, Moreno's efforts had made Manila one of the safer cities in the country, especially compared to its high crime rate at the start of his term. Again, just to remind everyone, this is all in one term. This focus on crime prevention earned him the trust of both the residents and business owners, who appreciated the renewed sense of security in their communities. Now let's go to education. Because, you know, building a strong foundation for the future, Isko Moreno's administration also made tremendous strides in improving Manila's education sector, recognizing, of course, that the city's future depends on investing in its youth. Now, one of his landmark achievements was the construction of school buildings and educational infrastructure designed to accommodate the city's growing student population. One of the most significant projects was the building of the Dr. Alejandro Albert Elementary School. This is, of course, a multi-story modern school designed to provide students with an optimal learning environment. Now, the school can accommodate over 1,200 students, offering state-of-the-art classrooms, science laboratories, something I actually did not grow up with, and computer facilities, reflecting Moreno's commitment to modernizing education in Manila. Now, in addition to infrastructure, Moreno's administration launched the Galing ng Batang Maynila Scholarship Program, which provided thousands of deserving students with financial aid for college education. The program, of course, was a lifeline for underprivileged students, ensuring that financial constraints did not bar them or did not stop them from pursuing higher education. In the Philippines, we need a diploma to get a job. So that helped a lot of students. According to the Manila City Hall, the scholarship program benefited more than 10,000 students from 2019 to 2021, providing them with tuition support, stipends, and access to career development programs. It's a holistic program. Further solidifying his focus on education, Moreno also initiated the Learning in the City program, which distributed over 150,000 free tablets to public school students as part of his response to the pandemic's impact on education. Now, it hurts me to say this, but missed opportunities and growing discontent. While Moreno's accomplishments are well documented, Mayor Hani Lacuna.
Okay, so yun po ay ilan lang sa naging accomplishment ni Isko Moreno. Kaya nga talagang ako ang baraha ko na kay Isko Moreno because of what he'd shown noong siya ay nanunungkulan sa Maynila. Okay, lahat ng mga yan, syempre hindi niya naman yan na basta na lang ginastusan, 'di ba? Ito dito lumalabas yung inutang na 15 billion, 50, I don't know what's next, but billion. So yun yung mga ginamit niya para sa mga pasilidad na yan, infrastructure na yan, development na yan, scholarship na yan, 'di ba? So lahat yan ay nanggaling doon sa hiniram na pera. Na maganda naman talaga yung naging purpose, 'di ba? Na marami ang nagkaroon ng oportunidad na maramdaman yung pagbabago ng Maynila. Tulad nga lang nung decongestion ng traffic, pag-ayos ng mga lugar sa Maynila, di ba? So malaki talaga yung naging improvement. Yun nga lang, syempre kailangan mo ng pera na inutang ni Isko Moreno. Dalawa sila ni Hani Lacuna. Na ito yung pinangbabala naman ni Hani Lacuna kung bakit siya ay walang masyadong proyekto. Diba? Parang hindi niya pa nga natuloy kasi ngayon nagkakaroon ng issue about dyan sa subsidiya para sa mga elderlies. Diba? Na ngayon may naririnig na binabalik niya uli o tinaasan niya uli, but I'm not too sure. Kaya lang kasi, kumbaga ito yung mga nagawa na ni Isko Moreno na itinutuloy niya lang. Ang kanyang nagiging malaking bentahe is siya yung nagbabayad ngayon ng inutang ni Isko Moreno. And of course, yung pabahay na yan, nang sinasabi, merong ilang mga pabahay, I don't know if it's the Baseco, na hindi pa nabibigay yung mga tapos na mga pabahay. But according to Hani Lacuna, dahil sa ROI niya, return of investment, yung paano babayaran ng mga nabigyan ng mga pabahay na yun. Of course, may bayad pa rin yun kahit paano. Kaya lang syempre, in an amount na hindi mahihirapan yung mga taong mabibigyan and the terms of payment, diba? Kaya lang kasi according to Hani nung siya ang interview, ang terms of payment ata nun is hindi malinaw kung paano paano hindi malinaw, hindi naman niya elaborate kung ano ba yung ibig niya sabihin doon. Pero isa sa reason yun kung bakit yung ibang pabahay na natapos na ay hindi pa nabigay. So yun yung explanation ni Hani Lacuna. And the way Hani Lacuna ngayon nangangampanya, di ba, nakita naman natin na meron siya doong time na nangangampanya siya na wala nang babalik. And she feel betrayed, sabi nga niya. And ngayon, yon yung nagiging bala nila na ginagamit kay Isko Moreno. So, regardless kung ano man yung inyong naririnig, nababasa, nakikita, it's still up to Manileños kung sino pa talaga ang susuportahan nila. Dito, obviously, this is a campaign for Isko Moreno. Obviously, because of all the goods na sinabi. But, which is, totoo naman, di ba? Ako, yung mga nakita ko, naramdaman ko, nung kapag ako lumulabas ng Maynila, nandoon yung changes. Malaki talaga. Now, with regards sa kanyang education or whatever, di ba? Yan is for the Manileños to consider kung sila ba ay nakaramdam ng ganon. Ang sa akin dito, the legacy or ang mga iniwan ni Isko Moreno nung siya ang nakaupo ay nakita ng karamihan. Hindi lang ng Metro Manila or hindi lang ng Maynila. Naramdaman din yan or nakita rin yan ng mga nanunood or sumubaybay noong terms ni Isko as a mayor ng Maynila. So, hindi po ito pagsangayon sa kung ano man yung maka-Isko ba ako or makahano. I'm just showing you the reality of what Isko Moreno had accomplished during his time. Siguro meron din naman si Hani, but kumbaga masyadong kulang kung ikukumpara mo sa nagawa ni Isko Moreno. Di ba? And isa sa ini-issue niya is yung mga ni-retain na mga administrator or yung mga tao na nandiyaraan pa rin nung siya na ang nakaupo sa administrasyon na hindi raw pinaalis ni Isko Moreno. But nung naramdaman niya na hindi na nagpapangsyon ng maayos, hindi niya pa rin naman ginawa ng paraan. Sabihin na natin na talagang nilagayan ni Isko for this scenario na nangyayari dahil tatakbo pala siya uli, then at least you have done something, di ba? Because you're serving the Manila, not Isko Moreno. Okay, so issue lang po tayo, walang personalan. Kung ano man po yung mga nasabi ko sa content na to, those are all my opinions. And if you feel na may mali sa sinabi ko, please comment on our comment section. So hanggang dito na lamang po. Maraming salamat.